Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, Title 42 ending. Another pseudo amnesty. American blacks' clock is ticking. Again, today's topic is Title 42 ending. Another pseudo amnesty. American blacks, overall, basically, clock is ticking. American blacks, unfortunately, overall, only have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the American black culture overall. There is unfortunately too many internal problems, too many political sellouts, too many non-political sellouts, too much American black man and black woman strife, and the personnel out there, supremacists that are using each and every day are sitting there laughing at the American blacks that don't even realize the destruction that is heading the American blacks the overall way. I relay that over and also in this topic as well. This Title 42, pseudo amnesty switchery, is a type of disgustingality, politicized switchery that unfortunately quite a number of American blacks don't even realize. This also affects American blacks indirectly and directly, but especially indirectly. See, it doesn't matter if the American blacks, numbers of American blacks don't care, and there's quite a number of ones who don't care. And this is what makes supremacists the most awesome mental manipulation force that's ever existed. Because they know that quite a number of American blacks have so much black pain. They don't even realize the destruction that's heading toward the American blacks overall way. And the supremacist system will also continuously use other groups in finishing up the American blacks, especially border breaking illegal immigration personnel. They're also going to use various types of immigrant groups as well. You have personnel that are Susan come lately type people and Johnny come lately people that every day are breaking border immigration laws and getting uh, uh, special accommodations and programs, different things relating to even legalness immigration scenarios. And then sponsoring numbers of their own family members, and that whole chain migration thing takes effect. And many American blacks don't even realize what is going on. And again, even this particular topic of Title 42, there are quite a number of American blacks that have never heard this before, which is understandable. But let me just relay this over because, again, I'm utilizing this as a timepiece purpose. So, again, after Title 42 ends, then what's going to be the excuse by numbers of American blacks that do not have more than one generation left? That when they had the opportunity to do constructive correction and to checkmate people to say this is not acceptable collectively, what are you going to do for the American blacks? The overall American black folks will have no excuses. Let's go with what Title 42 is in a nutshell. Let me read you something. Title 42, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and specifically the United States Border Patrol, are supporting the U.S. Gov response to C-19 virus. Effective March 21st, 2020 at 000001 hours Eastern Standard Time. The United States Border Patrol will exercise authorities derived under U.S. Code Title 42, Section 265, suspension of entries and imports from designated places to prevent the spread of communicable diseases. That the Director of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, under authority of the Public Health Service Act, has directed Customs and Border Patrol to prohibit the introduction of certain persons into the United States who, due to existence of C-19 in countries or places from which persons are traveling, create a serious danger of the introduction of such disease in the United States. That is, in a nutshell, what Title 42 is. This right here, this document was, again, this document was 2020. For 2000, effective March 21st, 2020. And you have however numbers of political personnel, however numbers of organizations who know they are, however numbers of individuals, et cetera, who are utilizing Title 42 ending in a type of politicized, discussing way, in a type of mental manipulation tactic way. And it is disturbing and disgusting. Because this, what I just read you is about at that time to try to prevent others from spreading possible C-19 communicable diseases, etc. Right? To limit that, however, places and countries that was basically having a scenario with that. And now, May the 11th, at 11:59 is when the Title 42 pseudo amnesty is supposed to be lifted. And you got personnel that be talking about, oh, that's illegal. That shouldn't be used like an immigration law, and it has nothing to do with that. And it was as if between 2020 and May 11, 2023, as if many numbers of border breaking illegal immigration personnel, numbers of wink wink pseudo immigration personnel would come to the border and sit there and use whatever magical words of I seek asylum, right? As if that has not been happening for the last 2 years. As if Title 19 just kept 100% of any individual, be it border breaking, illegal immigration personnel, or any other wink wink immigration personnel that wanted to seek asylum, that has kept each one of them out of the country. And that's a extra dog poop lie. You're talking about for the last couple of years, there have been record breaking illegal immigration scenarios going on at the borders. There's also been record numbers as well of asylum, especially within the last year. There's been record-breaking asylum seeking personnel, right? This is on. I'm just speaking for this last year. There's been extreme amount of record-breaking asylum seeking personnel, right? And how many have been granted on that? This is when you have seen people who know what I'm talking about. You know, within the last whatever amount of many months, when you would hear these things about, oh, these personnel, some personnel in Texas and some other personnel, wherever it is, they were sending buses up there to New York or Washington, D.C. Um, this has been going on for quite a while. And how many, again, after March of 2020, border breaking legal immigration personnel were still coming over across the border legally and are ones that also are still seeking asylum and still however numbers of them were still granted asylum to come into the United States, still to get free planes and free buses to go whatever different places. And then sit back and do this because they know American blacks have no clue what are they doing. Unfortunately, many numbers of American blacks have no clue what is going on right now. Just have no overall clue with few exceptions. So I want to include this a quick uh, Title 42 topic of discussion because I'm gonna show you a video while I'm about to get ready to close the show to show you something. But I'm gonna show you a couple other videos before this. Okay, so let me go ahead and get because I've already set that parameter. What is Title 42? So let me just go ahead and show you a few things on this. Give me one moment here. Give me one moment. Give me one moment here. One moment.
5 hours away from the end of the immigration policy known as Title 42. It's our top story right here on the 4. I'm Heather Myers.
I'm Carlo Chiquetta. We have team coverage of the growing crisis at the border as crowds of migrants gather hoping to seek asylum. CBS 8's Richard Allen is live in Tijuana with the confusion and frustration over the policies. Shannon Handy has more on the wait along the wall, but we start out with Jesse Pagan. Jesse?
Yeah, Carlo, Heather, the moment has come, right? Here we are, just a few hours away from the end of Title 42, and we are here at the wall where a lot of migrants are waiting, hoping for their chance. If you take a look, you can see a lot of them are just waiting right by the wall, some covered under tarps, some under trash bags, some with cardboard trying to take some shade and stay warm. Just a few minutes ago, we did see some people, just baking in the heat. We did see a teenage girl who did faint. A crowd around her trying to help her, pour some water over her, and the Border Patrol officers over here calling for an ambulance to get out here. That's the reality a lot of these people are facing right now as they wait for their chance and their hopes of claiming asylum. Of course, our coverage throughout the entire week, we've been out here showing you all kinds of stories of people, each one in the same situation now, but of course, with their own path and their own situation of how they got here and their own reasons. Shannon Handy, one of our reporters, has been out here for several days. Today, she's been talking with folks at
The ridiculousness. You hear within this simpish type of male's voice. It's like this pouting of showing that we must show sympathy. You hear that? Oh, they're this out there and they're being waiting on that hot burning sun and we must they're counting down to be able to come across the border and seeking asylum to get a better life. And this is what numbers of them are doing, especially they're doing this toward the American blacks don't even realize what's going on. This is what they're doing. because this is nothing new. This Title 42 game is a disgusting political switchery. I just read you what Title 42 was for the people who do not know what that is. And so that was 2 years ago, right? To try to stop the importation of entries and what was it? Suspension of entries and imports. But yet the last part of imports, you hear quite a number of people, political personnel, news media personnel, they didn't say anything about suspension of entries and imports. They only stuck to talking about as if, oh, those migrants, oh, those migrants, oh, they just want a better life. They're just trying to get this better life, and we need to basically support them. And this is how they come across. That's very disgusting. That's very pathetic. That is childishness. It is almost like a white lie switchery on that. Let me show you another particular video. Give me one moment. Give me one moment.
This is a live look at the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso, and all those people you see standing there, all of them, are waiting to cross the border when Title 42 ends at 11:59 tonight.
Yeah, and for days, the number of migrants waiting to cross has just been growing, and the surge is compounding this humanitarian crisis there. We want to give you a closer look now at what's happening right now at the border. Gloria Pasmino is live in El Paso, Texas. And Gloria, what's the situation like on the ground?
Well, Lorenzo, Leslie, the question right now is just how long this surge is going to last. I want to show you exactly what we are witnessing here in El Paso, just behind the wall here behind me. You were just mentioning the hundreds of people that are waiting to cross. They are standing right behind where we are here. For several hours, we have been watching as Border Patrol officials arrive and take some of the migrants into custody. Just in the last few minutes, they loaded a bus full of people, including several young children. Many of them waved to us as they were driven away from here, likely headed to a detention center. People are waiting to come across and turn.
Mm, mm, mm. Again, look at this simpish type of woman in this video. It's like, again, not her personally, but this mannerism of, oh, oh my goodness, these migrants, these little kids. We know we got to help them. This is this is so pathetic. Now again, this is what uh, numbers of border breaking illegal immigration personnel are doing. And this is what numbers of wink wink these migrants are doing, especially toward the American blacks who they don't care nothing about. But this is what they're doing because they know that they can care less about what American black people are going through. They're trying to get their freebies. And this is what they're doing. Cause you go, it's almost like, you hear somebody see supremacists, they don't not like, and especially certain types of immigration personnel and border breaking illegal immigration personnel. Oh, they don't like when you can see through their nonsense. They don't like that at all. And they especially don't like when it's American black personnel that sees through them, what that nonsensical game is. Right? I don't like it all. Because then they'll try to switch up little tactics and stuff like this and watch it. They'll be like, well, you know what? But uh, but there are some, you talking about, those migrants, and I'm not talking about migrants. I'm talking about reality. The question is, can American blacks, would American blacks be called migrants if they was lined up to their border left and right, talking about they were tired of this continuously black pain, oppression, and stuff like that, and they start lining up and stuff they left and right, going to the southern borders and things like that? Do you think that will fly? Well, I mean, then they'll deflect that because they know got them right. Then it'd be like, well, it's not. Well, hold on for a second, but it's not all migrants that are coming to the border illegally. Some of them are legally entering the United States. That's why they call you. It's like those things. I'm not listening to that nonsense. As I get older, you hear people say, "Oh, they don't have the patience and stuff like that," and and then they still deal with nonsense, right? For myself, I'm like, no. When I say I'm not listening to nonsense, I will not listen to nonsense like deflectionary tactics. Will not. I will not, especially as I'm getting older. It's like at 500 degrees below zero that my tolerance for nonsensicalness, the deflectionary tactics, is minus 500 because it's so ridiculously. It should be obviously to see at least a piece of what these games that continue to be played by various type political switchery personnel, numbers of organizations that want pro open borders, numbers of organizations that they can't stand American blacks themselves, but they have their own agenda because they want more border breaking and illegal immigration personnel to get across this border and get these freebies. Like in this Title 42 situation that I've already explained earlier, it's not about uh, Title 42 per se, as I've already relayed over that. What do they think from March 2020 to May 11th, 2023, that border break immigration personnel just been stopped at the border left and right? Right. Even though there's been border breaking record numbers of border breakings coming across that border? What? And I'm almost only speaking for last year right now. Record breaking. This is before Title 42 today at 11:59 it's supposed to be it's supposed to be lifted up. So that means that Title 42 has nothing to do with stopping 9,000% of border breaking legal immigration personnel, has nothing to do with stopping 9,000%, stopping 1,000% of people doing their little migration games, talking, going to the border and saying whatever the magical words, I'm seeking asylum. That has nothing to do with that. This has already been done. This has already continued being done before Title 42 in March of 2020. They were doing that then. They were doing the same type of nonsensical game after March 21st, 2020. So from March 21st, 2020, or March 22nd, 2020, up until still May the 11th, 2023, prior to Title 42 being lifted up, you still had border breaking legal immigration personnel still being come across the border illegally. You still had numbers of people coming to the dang border talking about they want to escape political violence. They want to escape, they're in fear of their life. It's been going on, right? Over and over again. And that has not stopped every single one from being able to get inside the country of America still. This is why, again, prior to May 11th, 2023, you still will see these videos of people, migrants, wink, 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 pseudo border break legal immigration personnel who knowing they loopholing behind legal immigration laws. They know what they're doing to get freebies. This is why you have seen them or hear about them or be told where they have these buses going from different borders being processed, well, numbers that are being processed, and going to different places throughout the country that these other personnel that sponsor them, they either have also family members and friends that are already here and stuff like that. So it's like that chain migration technicality to a certain point, right? To a certain point on that, right? This game is ridiculously silly. Now, I mean silly that unfortunately numbers of American blacks have no clue of this disturbing game that continues to be insulting. right? God, Lee, this is ridiculous. But let's continue, okay? Let's continue on this. Let's continue. Give me 1 second here.
Border. Crossings are likely to jump when a pandemic era policy expires next week. Omar Villafranca is at the border where officials are struggling with those who are already there.
It's a familiar scene in the border town of El Paso, Texas.
Dios bendiga América.
People desperately escaping violence and poverty, facing uncertainty, waiting in groups, crowding sidewalks, hoping
Crossings are likely to jump when a pandemic era policy expires next week. Omar Villafranca is at the border where officials are struggling with those who are already there.
It's a familiar scene in the border town of El Paso, Texas.
Dios bendiga América.
People desperately escaping violence and poverty, facing uncertainty, waiting in groups, crowding sidewalks, hoping
They are escaping violence. This is what they do are doing among each other, talking about American blacks, saying those silly Negroes don't even realize what we're doing. What about black pain? What about black pain of the American blacks? What about that? You're always talking about Title 42, but where's all the American black overall reparations? See, numbers of American blacks are so quiet and so ridiculous overall, gullible in its sense of supremacy, which is the most awesome mental manipulation force that has ever existed. You have numbers of black political personnel were quiet on this to say, wait a minute, what about American blacks? What are you going to do for American blacks? Let me play that video. Let me play that video one more time. That it was so ridiculously ignorant. The excuses that were shown. Let me show this again.
Border. Crossings are likely to jump when a pandemic era policy expires next week. Omar Villafranca is at the border where officials are struggling with those who are already there.
it's a familiar scene in the border town of El Paso, Texas.
Dios bendiga América.
People desperately escaping violence and poverty, facing uncertainty, waiting in groups, crowding sidewalks, hoping
So they're desperately trying to escape violence when there's not a week that goes by, let alone a day or two that goes by, where there is a constant anti-black rhetoric going on. Constantly anti-black rhetoric going on. Poverty, numbers of American black youth and numbers of American black personnel in poverty. Generational black pain toward American blacks. Reprehensible laws and policies for generations toward the American black, and no justice relating to reparations for those things for generational black pain. But American blacks, the no. Let me rephrase this. What other culture, background, ethnicity, alternative lifestyle category, immigration status, border breaking, illegal immigration personnel, etc., has had the most racial racism toward them for generations and received no reparations? receive no anti-hatred law for that personnel, for generations of hatred toward that particular background of people. Nobody comes close for generations and get no reparations as American black. And here it is, you got resources that continuously be given to border breaking illegal immigration personnel. You got Harvard numbers of uncalculable number of resources given to wink wink migrant type personnel to go to get freebies. How many of those women that come to that border have a child in their stomach, have two other kids or three other kids right by them, right? Knowing they finna get this freebie benefit of food stamps. Says getting food stamps had nothing to do with your immigration status. These people know the games already. And once that personnel pops out another one or two more, something like that, oh, more of that, bam, automatic citizenship, which then anchors that baby, the babies too, because obviously they ain't gonna leave out the other baby. So then that anchors them where that mom doesn't have to worry about ever being deported. God, this game is brilliant. This game is brilliant. God, boy. One of the last videos I want to show you. Oh, excuse me. Back to that particular last video, and this was days ago. This was days ago. So you already had a catastrophic is going on of however different places that are being overburdened already. So again, this discussing tactic of using Title 42 as if this oh my goodness, Title 42 is being lifted. Oh my goodness, by time because you got migrants that are trying to get away from violence. Violence from who? People that look like that person. Let's ask again. They're escaping violence by people that look like them. Overall, what a game! It's like go to the border, uh, asylum, oh, violence, violence. We're scared of violence. Okay, wave, whatever the next wave is. What's going on? They want to escape violence. Next wave, they want to escape violence. But here it is, American blacks, the number one most hated culture, the number one most racially discriminated culture, the number one most racially hated, discriminated against, oppressed, racially profiled for generations, and get no reparations and get no laws specific for American blacks. Now, sellouts will be gone. That is ridiculously insulting on that. How ridiculously insulting is that? And there were I didn't see any. Well, let me phrase that. Because I don't have a doppelganger person in each state. I'm saying overall, for most people, I'm pretty sure didn't remember seeing any American black political person overall and have other personnel saying this is wrong. What about the American blacks going through all this kind of stuff? What about they need resources? But American blacks are told overall over and over again, even internally, you got members of American blacks saying, telling other blacks, well, pull your own self up by your bootstraps. I did. You're a dang fool. Do you think Title 42 gives a freaking banana peel about some black small percentage of personnel that are successful in this society? And how many personnel that's per se successful in society as American black men, black women, how many have been reminded? Fools. How many? It's not about an individual says foolish person. It is a collective thing. Do you think a few little border breaking illegal immigration personnel are talking about individually themselves? They looking at collectively. Now, sub individually, they're like, forget this crowd. So this other particular border breaking illegal immigration personnel from this country, another country, they don't care about each other. But that's the surface part. But collectively, they're like, man, we're trying to get this benefit. And those American blacks don't see the darn game. One of my last videos I want to show is this. Give me one moment here. And this kind of sets a direction of, all this conversation about Title 42 being lifted up. Okay. Watch this last video I want to show, or one of the last videos I want to show you. Give me one moment here.
It's a nightmare. This is not being blown out of proportion. Those of us who live on the border, this is not news. This is standard operating procedure. All day, every day. Pick a spot along the U.S.-Mexico border in Eagle Pass, Texas, and in a matter of minutes, you'll understand the gravity of the immigration situation. ¿De dónde es? Venezuela. Venezuela. Looks like single males. So what you got here is a mother and a father with their 3 children. Tuesday, Mark Garcia, a retired Border Patrol agent and longtime border resident, drove from place to place along the Rio Grande. And everywhere he stopped, migrants were arriving. We've been here twice, and we've seen 2 groups. A little bit bigger this time. Garcia, like so many who live here, is fed up with
What did they talk about? This is nothing new. So all this Title 42 mania is pathetic and politically switcherized. You still already had border breaking illegal immigration personnel that's been coming over here daily, over and over and over and over again, regardless. When C-19 was running rampant, and not, you still have border breakers that were still running across the border, and many of them were not caught. And how many of them that were apprehended were still allowed to come into America and gave them some kind of test, whatever it is, or told them, hey, here's some, report, whatever it is, come back another day and stuff like that. How many of them were allowed to do that? How many personnel just went up to the border, and enforcing people right there, and they would say whatever the magical words. The migrant wink wink group would say the magical words and stuff like that, and political violence. We get we trying to escape political violence or physical violence, and they fear their life, and they want to seek asylum and stuff like that. And how many of them were processed through to get again processed and go out there to different places, in the country and stuff like that, that they had friends or relatives or sponsors or other entities and stuff like that that can care less about American blacks. So Title 42 is not even a freaking point. But they want to try to play this little game. As you heard the last video here, this particular last video I showed, this is nothing new. It's a game. It is a game. Watch this. I'm gonna read you something for a second. This article, it talks about how migrants processed into U.S. as asylum seekers are being given immigration court dates. Hold on, this is on May 11th today. Uh, uh, Migrants processed into the U.S. as asylum seekers are being given immigration court dates more than a decade away. This is May 11th. This is not. This is still going on right now. And Title 42 is still active right now. Title 42 does not end until 11:59 tonight. So this article is still pre Title 42 ending. Migrants processed into the U.S. as asylum seekers are being given immigration court dates for more than a decade away. It talks about how in Brownsville, migrants who arrived in the U.S. Thursday showed such as this particular correspondence place their paperwork with designated court dates set as late as 2032 and 2035 in Chicago and Florida. So it's not about Title 42 being lifted up. These personnel, they talking about today before 11:59, personnel will still get being processed in and not kicked out. Not kicked out. Say, no, you can't come in here. How many were processed in and giving court dates to designate court dates to show up years down the road. And how many don't even show up? But you got people that don't play this little game. You got immigration groups and stuff like who know they are. Oh, well, a lot of them still show up, and it's many of them don't. Go to hell with that game plan, right? God, this game is ridiculous. They talk about how backlogs at immigration courts currently stand at 2.1 million cases waiting to be heard. That record, excuse me, according to the data from the Justice Department, 2022 saw the highest number of asylum applications on record with almost 700,000 filed. Let me preach this again. It talks about how, according to the data from the Justice Department, 2022 saw the highest number of asylum applications on record with almost 700,000 filled. That record could be broken this year with projections based on first quarter figures to be almost 740,000 applications filled. You just heard what I read. They talking about 2022 was record breaking for asylum seekers. This was before Title 42. It's supposed to end, which is supposed to wink wink supposed to keep out people and stuff like that, right? For whatever while because under 2022 for communicable disease and the C-19 and stuff like that. So we had to keep people out and stuff like that. What 2022? You still had what C-19 was still doing this thing, right? But you still had numbers of asylum seekers. You heard I just read you, right? That number that's filed. So you got personnel that wasn't getting kicked. Those numbers wasn't getting kicked back out. You see this game? It's ridiculous. But you got people trying to play this little switcher game of Title 42, Title 42. Oh, it should be lifted up so these people can sit there and get away from the violence. This game. But American blacks go through violence each and every day. American black pain is rampant. It is a black demic. So what about the American blacks? What about their justice? What about helping American blacks to get to help some kind of justice, right? To help reduce down more American black pain from racial racism. God, but it's a ridiculous game people are playing. Let me show you something for a second here. Give me one moment. Let me show you something.
A customer captured this video as the suspect yelled racial slurs at 40-year-old Anton Patterson, who is black. It happened Sunday night outside an Elgin bar. After being asked to leave the bar, prosecutors say 28-year-old Jason Ostrigo continued to make racist remarks in the parking lot.
You want to dance?
We
And this is dated December.
You got people worry about what title 4 being lifted up or needs to be lifted up so you can get people getting more people to get asylum seekers, become asylum seekers. Let me show you something else.
And then everyone's called a white supremacist. I'm sorry, but we're not white supremacists. Oh, I guess I'm not. Yes, I am, because the term nowadays, white supremacist means you're a patriot. So I have a sign that I do carry sometimes, and I say proud white supremacist, because a white supremacist is a patriot. And I don't appreciate defining people by their race, by their sex, by their beliefs, by their values, etc. We are all Americans, and I think coming up with a resolution like that divides our city even further.
The ignorance of what came out that woman's mouth. What is the number one woman of what culture that has shown the most hatred toward the American black male and black woman? Numbers of women from within certain parts of predominant culture. How many times over and over again there are videos and articles written by whomever personnel showing that certain numbers of women within the predominant culture calling American blacks the N word and utilizing tactics and stuff like that, calling enforcement over false scenarios. How many times does it continue to keep happening? But don't worry about that, right? Oh, let me show you one last video.
L'Oreal sent them the video. They they investigated and arrested 68-year-old Sobi Hassan, charging the employee with... Ariel sent them the video. They investigated and arrested 68-year-old Sobi Hassan, charging the employee with...
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't think I had another video. There was a video right before that where this particular piece of crap was sitting there whooping a grown man that was having some kind of mental situation going on. And he was whooping him inside of a darn store. Now, this would be considered, that person would probably be considered immigrant. And they were sitting there whooping this grown man that was inside of a store because he was having some kind of seizure or whatever was happening. And the guy was saying, get out, get out. And he was whooping this grown black man. But you got people worried about talking about Title 42, about time needs to be lifted up so you can help more asylum seekers get away from violence. How about this? This was less than 100 years ago. And you had things called what do they call them? I forgot my mind. I forgot. I'm drawing a blank here for a second. Sundown towns. Well, you still got numbers of black folks that have experienced racial racism, Ku Klux Klan style racial violence and racial threats and things like that are being told, hey man, don't go through at nighttime because they may not make it out. This is right now 2023. But you got people talking about Title 42, worried about some kind of wink wink migrant sitting there. Got to help them out, escape from violence. What a game. What a freaking game. And this is what supremacists is doing. They're laughing because they know an overall amount of American blacks are sitting there tolerating these kind of things, right? Watch this for a second. Watch this for a second. Give me one moment here. Watch this for a second. One moment. Give me one moment here. Oh, this is some. Oh, give me one moment here. Oh, yeah.
What's the issue?
What's up?
Why are you coming over here?
I just want to see what you guys are taking pictures of.
Why is it your business?
Well, you know what? This is my home.
Okay, mine too. Why are you taking pictures
Where
of
do you
me?
live?
I live in Scottsdale. Why are you taking pictures of me?
Michigan plates?
Yeah. Why are you taking pictures of me?
Well, you know what? We've had problems here.
I don't care. You don't know me. Why are you taking pictures of me? And I don't know you. Do you know a lot of white men are doing racist things in this world, sir?
No.
You don't know that? You're not aware of that?
I'm a racist.
You are a racist.
I'm a racist.
Okay, that's fine.
But you got people talking about Title 42. And you got this Mr. Miyagi looking person. He's from the Asian persuasion culture. And he's sitting there talking about he's a racist. Now the American black male was talking, he made a mistake talking about, do you know that white man are racist? This Asian, it ain't just numbers of personnel from the predominant culture showing racial racism. There are to black folks. There are American blacks. There are numbers of Asians. There are numbers of Hispanics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Numbers of returned lifestyle category personnel that show hatred toward American blacks. Golly, boy. But you got people sitting there talking about, well, we need to help these migrants sit there and basically pseudo break border immigration laws, about do loopholes, and talking about we need to get the Title 42 lifted up so they can get more asylum seekers to come across the border, escape violence. When black pain is black-demic levels. What a game!
The elected officials refuse to address the problem. The black elected officials refuse to address the problem. My own congressman refuses to address the problem. And I think the problem is black folks see all minorities as allies. And this is not the case. These people are not here for our common good. They're here for their own good. Where I don't have any ill will towards anybody, I also want to look out for my race. I'm a black American. I've never used a hyphen. But I will refuse to turn my back on my race and see what's going on in South Central to my people and let these people come in here and just take over. I'm not going to sit back and watch it. And I think it's
It'll continue to keep happening throughout how many different cities and different parts of the states. Numbers of American blacks continue to try to be friends to so many different other cultures and allow other people to put them in some type of people of color minority status. And again, this is what they do when American blacks do that kind of situation. This is what they do. American blacks, unfortunately, again, only have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the American black culture. It's too many internal problems. Too many internal problems. Too many sellouts. Too many numbers of gullible ones. Too many ones that act like that what's going on is really not what's going on. And they got numbers of American blacks just mesmerized with these switchery tactics. Every day, you got supremacists playing same childish behavior tactics toward millions of American blacks, and and continue to be mesmerizing American blacks to not see the games that's being played. So I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP.